Norman Liss, and the name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me each week at this time as we explore places to go and things to do. Today we're exploring music. My guest today is Laura Calzorlari, who is the director of the Westchester Conservatory of Music. And we will look into the whole subject of music, young people, older people, enjoying music and playing music. Welcome to the program, Laura. And so what advice do we give to parents who detect some talent, musical talent in their children?
First of all, I think all children are innately musical. Music is one of the universal languages. I think that children should be exposed early to music, starting with pre-instrumental programs.
And you do that, of course.
We teach several methods that prepare children to experience music through their bodies, to translate the abstraction of music into body movement.
Through rhythm and...
Rhythm, singing is very important. In fact, I think that children don't sing enough anymore. There's been such a decline of choruses in elementary schools. And everybody has a voice. Doesn't cost anything to sing.
Yeah, the Westchester Conservatory of Music is in White Plains, and
has been for 63 years.
63 years, and you're a community-based organization. What does that exactly mean?
A community music school is one that is informed, if you will, by the community it's in. It serves youngsters and through adults, as we do. We have students as young as 20 months, and as hard as that may seem,
yes.
And through senior citizens and every age increment in between. No student at our school studies there full-time. They go to their regular school and then do music as an avocation, if you will.
But you also have programs which are not at the school itself.
That's right. We have a huge outreach program. We have about 850 students who come to our building in White Plains. We serve another 2,000 in outreach programs in the public schools, and then we have a program of music therapy, which is a professional therapeutic special profession that works with many children in special education at sheltered workshops, group homes, rehabilitation centers, all ages and all disabilities.
And let's get back to that first question now. So we have a youngster, 20 months or 2 years, and we want to find out if that child has some talent in music, or maybe the child goes to the piano and plays. What do we do? What do we do as parents?
Well, at the conservatory, as I said, we have any number of methods of pre-instrumental music, such as Orff, which uses small tonal percussion instruments that are like little xylophones, scaled in pitch, and they get an early ensemble experience. One can't really take on an instrument until the child has developed enough fine motor coordination and to some extent size to handle one. And then we have programs that work up to it.
Can the parent enhance working up to it? Is there some way to do that?
Oh, yeah. By listening, exposing the child to listening at home. I mean, when you think about it, we hear so much very non-musical noise on a daily basis. The TV goes, pop music goes all the time, and there isn't often much classical music or even or good music, jazz, in the home. Parents can do a lot by playing that. There are many fine young programs for young children in informal concert situations.
So exposure to good music, and I know you're touching...
Live music as well,
Live
too.
music is very important. Taking children to concerts, and don't let them
to the
come
appropriate kind of concert, to a children's concert.
And playing good music. I know you differentiate between music that you don't consider to be music at this point, but you're talking about classical music or good music or jazz.
Sure.
Popular music that is melodic.
Yes, I think melody, I think that's a good point. I think that it has a recognizable melody. Nursery rhymes are and nursery rhyme songs are a profoundly important source of early musical development, and the methods we use would all include those. And in fact, one of the most widely acclaimed instrumental methods for teaching young children, the Suzuki method, which teaches children the violin and it's successful in that the violin can be scaled down to appropriate size while maintaining trueness of pitch, so that children at the age of 4 start on a 16th size violin, I wish I'd brought one, that are not much bigger than a large Christmas ornament, and yet the A it plays is still a right A.
And if the child moving along and they're getting a little older and the child is learning an instrument, should the parent insist that the child practices a certain amount of days?
First of all, that's a very good point. And one of the reasons the Suzuki method has been so successful is that it creates a triangle between child, parent, and teacher. After all, the child only sees the teacher once a week, but is with the parent every day. Music being a universal language, it's something that can be learned with the parent's help. So the parent helps practice with the child every day. It's not important that the parent be musical necessarily, but just go over the assignments. And once again, there's a listening assignment that goes with it. And as I was going to mention, as relates to nursery rhymes, the first piece that is learned in the Suzuki repertoire that is maintained for years are variations on Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Now,
and practicing every day is very important. There's a famous story. Master Suzuki, who invented the Suzuki method, was giving a class in Tokyo for some 1,000 youngsters. And a little girl from the audience said, "Master Suzuki, must we play every day?" And his response was, "No, my dear, only on the days that you eat." Meaning that music should become an absolutely regular part of one's life. And that's what we aspire to at the conservatory, that it's part of a daily routine, an enjoyable part.
but when it becomes a chore and it's no longer interesting, when it's no longer fun for the child, then what happens?
Well, I think everything that is worth learning is a challenge. You know, it's got to be a process of learning it, and I don't think anyone would say that anything they have learned well has 100% of the time been thoroughly enjoyable. It's been often difficult, but that comes with it. But with good training, one of the things that's so important about coming to a place like the conservatory is that word we've been talking about, community. Children and parents, adults, are all brought together for the same reason. And children meet other children who are interested in music. Parents meet other parents, which is sometimes even more important, who are interested in that.
And there's a relationship between learning to play or learning music and learning other things. You have found that, haven't
Absolutely. The discipline involved in learning a musical instrument, first of all, develops self-discipline like nothing else I know. There's nothing makes you more profoundly honest than to sit in that chair with that piece of Mozart in front of you and go over the same 4 bars of a Mozart concerto, or much less the first 2 songs in the Suzuki violin, until it's just so. It's one of the few avenues that I think children have to learn personally appropriate self-expression. We deny our children those ongoing experiences. Having my own children, I see that at school, they'll get a short period of time of writing some poetry, but it isn't as developed as it might be.
You're proud of the fact that so many of your music students are also achievers in their studies and have done some wonderful things. Do you see that correlation there?
Absolutely. I find that children who excel in music excel in many, many things. They are academically superior students, leaders. I think music helps you be a leader because I think you learn to respond to a certain inner core that you have. Once again, that appropriate self-expression, self-esteem, because you've been put up on the stage early and can demonstrate things.
Now, the coming up in December is this great concert that you have, and one of the things that we want to be sure to talk about today. This is really the culmination or the beginning of a very important program that you have, which helps minority, low-income children. Why don't we talk about that?
The Conservatory's mission is to provide quality music education to all interested students, regardless of age, ability, goal, or means. And together with the board, I and the board have been very committed to a true realization of that. So we have, for the last 10 years, worked very hard on developing our scholarship program to open ourselves up to those who can't afford tuition. We were recognized for doing a good job, and we are one of the first 9 community music schools given large grants by the Lila Wallace Reader's Digest Fund for our scholarship endowment. Schools like ours typically have very small endowments, and, as most of us know, schools must build endowments. This will perpetuate our scholarship program.
There's a matching grant.
Yes, we have to match the $300,000 that the Wallace Fund gave us with another $300,000.
Now, this concert on December 6th, is it?
December the 4th,
December
Saturday
4th.
evening.
And
this
is a fundraising?
Yes, and it came about because one part of the scholarship program is, if you will, the jewel in the crown, our Stars of Tomorrow program. We have an intensive study division, which is a program of pre-professional training. Graduation is coincident with graduation from high school. We wanted to ensure that minority youngsters had an ability to join in this and partake of this very intensive study. They have to complete a curriculum, do a graduation recital, and all kinds of things like that. So we're starting. There will be 10 endowed scholarships in different areas.
And you've picked the youngsters. They've gone through a whole process.
We have 6. They went through a screening process, and then we had final auditions on October the 16th, and we have 6 extremely talented, dedicated young people who are the beneficiaries. 2 of the scholarships are named in honor of our STARS mentors. And once again, this program celebrates the importance of the role of the mentor. One-to-one instruction is the core of serious instrumental music.
I'd like to show some of the material that you have, which indicate what your concert is, and I think that would be helpful and give people an idea of what's going on. But let's talk about who the 2 soloists are too.
They are internationally renowned artists. Elmar Oliveira, the first American to win the Tchaikovsky competition in violin, and Garrick Olson, the first American to win the Chopin competition.
Now, they've never played together, have they?
They have never. They are internationally renowned. They have never played a joint recital. And it's very exciting. Garrick Olson is a conservatory alumnus.
Oh, he is?
And is the chairman of our musical advisory committee. It will be a profoundly exciting event. They are both huge musical minds, engaging personalities, and I'm, for one, looking forward to it no end. We're also very pleased that Maestro Kurt Mazur, the music director of the New York Philharmonic, whose son goes to the conservatory, is serving as honorary chairman of this concert.
And you also have a host who is also very, very well known.
A great friend of the conservatory, Martin Buxban, who many, many people know as the voice of the New York Philharmonic and is an extremely experienced music commentary and musicologist. He has done many things for us.
It's really wonderful that you have the support of all these well-known people who are involved with you.
Because they understand how important music education on all levels is, not just for producing the Elmars and Garricks, but for producing the 1,000 audience members that you need to sit in the seats to listen to our major artists, the people to work in the field of the performing arts, but not necessarily as performers.
You mentioned sit in the seats. Now, how does your program work to enhance the listening that the people who do not play instruments? How does your program work?
Well, first of all, I think that an experience playing an instrument, actually doing music, if you will, singing, of course, is a legitimate means too, gives the individual an insight into listening that without that, it's more difficult to get, not impossible. We certainly do also give music appreciation courses, which teach you how to listen, give background into the development of style, form and analysis.
How does one listen to music at a concert, at an orchestra, at opera, at chamber music? How should one listen?
First of all, if one has the time, one should always read the program notes. If they are good, they will provide very sound keys to listening. For instance, I recently went to the Philharmonic to hear Bruckner's Fourth, and I hadn't heard it. I don't necessarily need the notes, but I read them, and sure enough, Bruckner is known for a lot of 2-against-3 rhythm.
I don't know what that means.
2 beats and then 3 beats,
Okay.
duples and triples.
We should point out here that you yourself are a
Professional
musician,
musician.
and you are professional. You play the flute,
Right.
and you do also teach the flute at the conservatory.
Right, that's correct.
Right. So certainly you come to a concert
With a different-
with entirely a different approach than I would, because I play no instrument. But
But what I was going to say is the notes mentioned in how often in the first movement the 2-against-3 rhythm occurred. And in fact, I was thinking, if I hadn't had the listening skills that I have, how helpful that would have been, because I could have prepared myself. Also following, often I think, the melody, because in a melodic piece, that's what I think most people listen to. It's the easiest to follow. Following the bass part. Trying to hear, does a theme come back? Does that little tune repeat itself? Following the different instrumental parts.
So what you're saying, instead of just going there and letting the music saturate you,
Or wash over you.
and hearing it, that you should analyze what you're listening to?
I think you should try to follow something, because I think in the end it will saturate you more, because you will leave the concert. After all, music is totally abstract. If one can, for instance, follow the melody line, you'll find yourself, having left the concert, kind of humming a fragment of it, because one concentrated on it.
This is a point that I want to discuss with you. I am not musical at all. I have, as far as music is concerned, 2 left feet. I can't tell whether notes go up or down. I cannot sing, and yet. How is it that in my head, when I'm listening to familiar music, that I know exactly, I can in my head sing along right with it? What is this ability to be able to repeat the music from a non-musical person?
Well, first of all, had your mom taken you to early classes when you were a little kid, you wouldn't have had that problem, I don't think. Also, a lot of people can't project their voice. They can't make their voice follow a contour. That doesn't mean that you don't have any innate music. You're telling me that you do, because you can follow it in your head. It just means that you can't place your voice. And there are all kinds of reasons for that.
What is this power within us that allows us to repeat, quote, note for note or word for word, the music, and know the music?
It's a universal language. Music is absolutely a language, and we, as human beings, are compelled to communicate. Music is very, very basic. After all, it's a lot like math. You know, there's been a lot of talked about the correlation between math and music precocity. It's a series of patterns. They're only, if we're talking about classical music,
And we are.
we are, for now, there are only 12 tones. There are only a finite number of different rhythms, but then there are endless combinations of
And
the
you don't have
rhythms.
to. You don't really have to know all of the technical aspects in
No.
order to enjoy it. And another question is: does it help to be able to see the players?
I think it does.
For instance, I have been to concerts where I sit low and only can see the front row, and I've been to concerts where I've been in the balcony or the mezzanine, and I can see all of the players. It's almost like watching on television, where they are picking out the player as he or she is playing the instrument. Does it help to see the players?
I think it does immeasurably. That's why a symphony orchestra is put on the stage, because they are the show, if you will. Certainly, one can follow some of the music by watching the way the bows are being directed on the string players. You can't see so much with the winds and brass because the fingers don't move much. One can follow which section is playing when, and it's just always fascinating to me to see the level of intensity and the communication, and this of course is with the symphony orchestra, between conductor, who is instrumentless, and then each member of this 90-piece orchestra. In chamber music, it's fascinating because that's really a dialogue. It's
I have attended rehearsals for chamber music. And I have attended Philharmonic rehearsals, which are Wednesday or Thursday mornings, depending on the week. And to see the piece being put together, the dialogue, as you've put it, is a marvelous experience, because that enhances completely your enjoyment of the finished product.
I think that the reason chamber music in this country has become as successful as it has been the immediacy of the audience to the performance, and the audience's partaking of that intimate communication experience. Because actually, our experience in America in full-fledged presenting first was orchestras. The orchestras developed the earliest here, before the turn of the century. And chamber music was really a later European import. But it's become incredibly popular here, I think, because the audiences cherish being part of that communicative experience.
And of course, chamber music started in chambers in people's homes.
Absolutely.
And the setting is very important, isn't it? If you take a chamber music, a quartet in a huge hall, it's a lot different than singing an intro.
Not only is it a lot different, I don't think it's an ideal experience, because even the best halls in the world, even if and they always do put the shell around the quartet, because, for instance, the quartet would be lost on the stage.
The shell meaning reflecting or...
Yeah, it's a smaller enclosure that moves the back of the stage up and the sides in, and helps deflect the sound outward, but also gives the players a feeling of greater intimacy, because, as I say, on the stage of Carnegie Hall, 4 players would be absolutely lost. It still isn't ideal. It's meant to be done in a smaller place, in something like a private home, or the way people used to live in churches. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's a little sidebar here. A chamber player once told me that his bow cost more than his violin.
Sometimes that happens, and you can sometimes...
That's mind-boggling.
Right. And in fact, the reason that we're doing our concert on December 4th at Theater C in SUNY, which is the smaller chamber music hall, is just for that reason. People said to me, why aren't you doing it at Theater A? And I said, it is not a duo recital hall. The acoustics in Theater C are ideal. In fact, it's used by both of the artists on occasion for recording. It's so fine. Yeah. And we wanted everyone to have a very intimate experience.
Yeah, we certainly wanted...
But that doesn't mean that we don't have plenty of those 500 tickets left to sell.
Yes, a point I wanted to make was we want to tell our audience where they can get more information about getting tickets, and we should, at this point, give the telephone number that people should call to get information. What is the number? The
number, of course, is 914-761-3715, and that is at the Westchester Conservatory of Music.
Okay, well, why don't you repeat that so people could write it down?
914-761-3715.
And we're going to put that on the screen in the closing credits, so if anybody missed it, they can write that down and call and find out about it.
And may I repeat the date?
Yes, it is December 4th.
Right, Saturday evening.
Saturday evening.
And though it's for the Westchester Conservatory, it is at SUNY Purchase in
Right.
Theater C.
Right, that'd be very, very good. Now, what happens? Is the school enlarging? Is it spreading its program? Is it making up a void that exists in so many schools because of cutbacks where music is not being taught
That's
in
an interesting
public schools?
question. I think that ultimately everybody suffers when the public schools cut out music. Yes, we are doing our very best to fill up the gap. We go to many school districts and try to help them as they're declining, cutting out music staff. We don't ever replace music teachers. I don't think that's what we're in the business to do. But if we can provide some extra instruction in what I call endangered instruments. Unfortunately, strings are often endangered, low brass, low reeds. We'll go in and help the music teachers after they've told us what they need help in. Surely, many people come to us to study because there was a lot of, many years when in the public schools you had so much music. Band and orchestra and chorus met every day. Now it's lucky if it's once a week. That while nothing replaces private lessons, there was enough that maybe the need wasn't as great.
There's always the question of what kind of an instrument should someone take up, and of course it has a lot to do with the sound that you like. And your ability to play. And I often think that it also has to do with whether you want to carry a flute or a double bass with you. I understand that if you're a cellist, then if you are traveling on an airplane, you have to buy an extra seat for your cello.
Absolutely.
But a double bass, at least you can pack in a cocoon-like case and put inside, right? So you don't have to worry about it.
That's the size of a small sarcophagus. I've seen them. They're enormous.
And it's safe to do that. Now, again, we want to make absolutely sure that we repeat the date that your benefit concert is going to take place, and that's December 4th at SUNY Purchase. And we really hope that people will call you and get the information. And we've run out of time, so thanks very much for coming today. I've certainly learned a lot about music and learning music. I'm Norman Liss. We've been talking today with Laura Calzorlari, who is the director of the Westchester Conservatory of Music. The name of the program is The Way to Go, and until next week at the same time, enjoy yourself.